Hello, this is Overly Critical Enemy with another video. Today's video is going to be about if Dragon Ball Super still sucks. I know I did a lot of videos when it first came out, and as far as I remembered it wasn't that good. So I rewatched it. Wanted to do this for a while. Binge watched it, watched the rest of the series, and this is pretty much all my opinions. We'll start with the first episodes all the way to the end. The first episodes start with the movies. It was Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods. I think it was Battle of the Gods, then Resurrection F. Went that order. And I wish they condensed these into smaller series, I guess, or arcs, whatever you want to call them. In the beginning, the animation was really fucking terrible. Holy shit, I don't remember it being that fucking terrible. I remember it being bad, but holy shit, like, they really messed that part up. It would look fucking terrible at certain points of time. It was just like, I don't know what happened there. I guess maybe budget cuts or something happened there. But it was kind of short lived. They did make better animations, thank God. And it kind of didn't come back either, which is good. I don't know, maybe they're using different animators or something. I don't know what the hell happened there, but I wish they would have condensed those movie arcs a little bit more. They pretty much showed everything within the series. I wish they condensed them just a little bit and make them a little bit better. Overall, it wasn't that bad. Now, the beginning of Goku Black Saga, this series and arc was whatever you want to call it. I'll just go and call them arcs. This was a lot shorter than I remembered, honestly. As soon as it begins, it kind of ends, which is kind of a shame. It had a really good premise that seemed a bit rushed, which is kind of sucked. It had a good idea. It's pretty much evil Goku. I mean, they've kind of done it before with the movie Turtles and stuff like that, but I think they expanded on it pretty well here. This is when we are introduced to Super Dragon Balls, and they get the wish of immortality and switching Goku's body. And then we get time travel, and it is kind of complicated how Zamasu is like still around, and it's uh, it's hard to follow at times, and sometimes it really doesn't make any sense. And even a time travel kind of aspect of the storyline doesn't all make sense, and the ending seemed, as I mentioned before, a bit rushed. It really didn't make sense how he died. Maybe it was like due to the fusion that somehow the wish didn't work as intended, I guess, because when he died, he became this really weird ether thing. I don't even know what to fucking call it. And like Zeno fucking deletes that shit, like kills him. He wished for immortality. I don't know what happened. It really makes no sense. I will mention the retcon with the Bator earrings. That shit kind of bothered me, okay, because it was established that once they fused, they could never unfuse. But they changed it to if you were not. Oh, that only happens if you're two Kais. Thing is, I think they forgot about the witch and the elder Kai, because they fused and did not become unfused. As far as I know, the witch was not a Kai, so yeah, they really fucked that one up. I think they just forgot about it, honestly. Even with the retcon, it makes no goddamn sense. They just fucked that up. Just bottom line. Then we get to the major arc of the series, is the Tournament of Power. Now, this one took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. This one seemed to drag out like a motherfucker at times. Like, even in the beginning, I think they could have condensed some of these episodes a little bit better, because just getting to the tournament power takes some time, which Kind of makes sense because they had to recruit people, and they have to get Frieza and Boo falls asleep. Of course, they couldn't have. I think that was a pretty good tactic to have Boo in there originally in the art and shit to become. I think maybe his plans changed somewhere in there. Of course, I don't think they could even include Boo because he had healing powers, and that would make them extremely powerful. Like the Universe 7, I believe, that they were in, that would just make them, I think, too powerful. And he had to, I think, write Boo off out of the situation somehow. So he had him eat a shit ton of food, and he became fat again, and he won't be able to wake up in time. So they had to recruit Frieza. So, like, because his healing power is an ability, so that would have been allowed in the tournament because there weren't allowed items and stuff. Even though Zeno allowed that shit wasn't allowed, some broken rules to be allowed, which is, I guess, because he allowed Praetorians in there, and you're not supposed to do that. So yeah. I don't think that bothered me. It's like whatever Zeno wanted, he got. So that was stupid too. Like holy shit. Some of the episodes of this arc were pretty fucking terrible. It doesn't really happen till like way into it, because like the small bugs weren't that great, and like the sniper guy that was shooting people randomly, that was just fucking terrible. Overall, it wasn't that bad. I didn't like how they teamed up against Universe 7 all the goddamn time. I heard there was rumors that it's supposed to be more of a battle royale, but he decided to focus more on uh, everyone teaming up on it for some odd reason. I don't know how true that is, but overall, this arc kind of fucked it up at the end, which I found it interesting because this comes with the not Super 17, but Andrew 17, mixing my freaking series up, where it's towards the end, the very end. Now we think 17 blows himself up. Here's the thing, I can't remember his name, like, but he says because Jiren shoots a huge energy beam at him, and 17 blows him up to protect Vegeta and Goku. And he says, well, their universe won't be penalized because he blew himself up, therefore he eliminated himself. But we never actually see Zeno eliminating 17. Of course, I think this was kind of a calculated move on Toriyama, because he doesn't always hit the buttons to eliminate people. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. It's kind of random. I think this was done on purpose. Maybe, it wasn't, because it kind of seemed like a complete fucking asshole. Because everyone thought 17 was eliminated, but you don't actually see him get eliminated. Officially, at least. So I guess in a way he didn't. It wasn't a complete asshole that 17 somehow wasn't eliminated. Okay, the thing is, like, somehow by some miracle, I guess he lived through the freaking blast somehow. Who knows how? They made it seem that he was eliminated. He didn't show up until the very end, and Goku and Frieza knocked Jiren out. It just seemed really weird and not the best endings for it. And also didn't like the wish thing to the separate Dragon Balls, because of course 17 wishes all the universes that were erased back. That was kind of obvious going to happen. But the thing that gets me is they ask what would happen if they wish for something selfish, and Zeno, and not Zeno says, but the guy that Unlimited said 17 Limit. I can't think of his fucking name for life of me. He says this really bothers me. He's like, well, he would have just erased everybody just from existence. And I guess the reason he gave was like, well, we want to see if humanity would change and be good, kind of thing. Like, really? Like, why to have this? You promise anything from these universes, and you just go to hope that, like, why would you erase them? This was the reward. They could wish for anything, so if they wished other than to bring back all the universes, everything would have been erased. Makes really goddamn no sense at all. At fucking all. What's the point of that? To give Super Dragon Balls to someone for a wish, and if they wish something selfish, why would Xeno give two fucks? Like, like Jesus, peace. I think they really dropped the ball on some of these arcs. It just felt so bad sometimes. Like, especially the Black Saga. I think that was the biggest letdown for me. Even though, Vegeta Blue comes in there, that was badass. And I'm not saying there weren't some really good episodes in here, because there was some really cool shit that happens in there. So it wasn't all 100% bad. As a whole thing, it does kind of all suck. The first two arcs were just really, I wouldn't say they were poorly done, but the animations were really fucking bad. I think they could have condensed these episodes a little bit more to move along into the Black Saga a little bit more, and they really fucking dropped the ball on that saga. Holy shit. I'm not saying that was all bad. I liked the Rose, Super Saiyan Rose, or whatever they want to call it. That transformation was kind of cool. I did like Vegeta Blue. And some of the concepts were pretty neat, but like, they fucked up at the end. They just really screwed up. And like the Spirit Bombs, like, sword thing, that shit made no fucking sense. And they tried to contain him, the evil containment wave, and they fucked that up somehow because they didn't put the seal on. Holy shit, they fucked that whole arc up. It was not good. And Turbo Power seemed to drag on for fucking ever. That was like 90% of the Dragon Ball Super right there was the Turbo Power. Like, holy shit. They seemed to drag that out. And even though Ultra Instinct was pretty fucking badass. Not gonna lie there, I can't excuse that. Almost forgot to mention that. Good thing I remembered. Ultra Instinct was probably the best thing that come out of there. It wasn't all 100% awful, but overall, I'm just looking at every single arc, with the Black Saga probably being the biggest disappointment of the whole series. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Does it still suck? Mostly it doesn't. There's a lot of places where it drops the fucking ball and just is just bad at certain points of the series at whole. So it is above average to me, but looking back and refreshing my memory of everything that happened in each one of these arcs, they did screw up a lot of fucking places that I cannot forgive, and it really does suck out a lot of places that I think they just did incredibly poorly, especially in the beginning with the animation. We're going to review everything, basically what all bad was. Terrible fucking animation in the first sagas. Dropped the ball with the Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball, the Black Saga. I think that was really fucking terrible what they did with there. It had a really good beginning, but it just dropped the fucking off the cliff. It drove off a cliff at the end. It was just, that shit was disastrous. Then you got the Turbo Power, which was pretty good. It kind of dragged for the first half of it, I'd say. But it does pick up. It has a lot of really good fights in there. Some of them, the fights were fucking just absolutely terrible. And Zeno seemed to not give a shit about his own rules, and it seemed like they could fly all the time, even though there was no flying. Like, that thing that also bothered me. But overall, it didn't 100% suck. There's definitely a lot of parts that did. That's pretty much all I have to say about the whole thing. And if you want to watch it again and remind yourself or torture yourself like I did, go right ahead. I don't think it'd be completely terrible to rewatch this series just to refresh your memory of it. It was just did absolutely suck at certain points of the period, but above average for me at least. Think of the scene, rate, comment, subscribe.